The baseball season that's been pretty magical to date for Pittsburgh Pirates fans got its start in April when Jim Rohr tossed out the first pitch. Now the executive chairman of the PNC Financial Services Group, Rohr was president of PNC in the 90s when the community wrestled with the idea of building new ballparks and redeveloping the Northshore. Ultimately, PNC put its name on the building, today considered one of the best ballparks in America, and now, of course, with a team to match. And Jim Rohr is back with us today. Welcome.
Hey, Bill, it's great to be with you, especially here at PNC Park.
Well, it is a remarkable venue and has been now for, I guess, 12 years, but suddenly to have the team really living up to the building is tremendous.
Well, like a lot of other things around Pittsburgh, you know, we've had some concepts and we've executed some things. The idea was that we needed a new ballpark or the team was going to leave town. And the good news is that the corporate community and the public policy people got together and created the regional asset district, and that allowed us to build these wonderful parks over here. And then the Pittsburghers built the best ballpark in all of baseball, which is kind of great. And when an idea becomes even greater than you had hoped.
Sure, you know, it was not without controversy. Obviously, not just the decision for PNC Park, but Heinz Field, even the new convention center, kind of everything that's happened here along the Allegheny. I mean, it really took leadership. So who were the drivers behind what happened?
When you think back, Tom Usher was the head of the Allegheny Conference, and the Allegheny Conference came up with Plan A, which was very similar to what the regional asset district tax process looks like today. Tom O'Brien, who was the person that put PNC's name on the park, he was our CEO at the time. Tom Murphy, who obviously was the leader of Plan B and also was Tom Usher's partner, and Tom Ridge. So it was the four Toms. Tom Ridge was the governor at the time, and those people really came together to facilitate the transformation of the North Shore and a lot of other things, because the regional asset district tax benefits the arts and parks and a lot of other things in the community as well.
Why were they such firm believers that this had to happen, that it was that important to the future of the region?
You know, baseball is America's game, and a lot of us grew up playing it. And in the 80s, the team was going to leave, and the corporations in town actually physically bought the team, which is not a great strategy. That the corporations didn't.
Maybe not one of the best investments. Most of those Fortune 500
we won't talk about that either. It was not a great, but it kept the team in town.
Sure.
The corporations understood what it meant to the community. The fact that if you lose your baseball team, you're not as visible a city, and so you lose some of the panache that you have when you're in the paper every day.
Well, it's true. You think about all the newscasts all across the country every night, and Pittsburgh's one of the major league towns for
the people in it lose the ball club,
yeah.
So they lose a key activity in town and something to identify with.
So you were there in the 90s when all this was being hashed out, and here we are today in 2013. Not just the ballpark, but everything that's happened. I mean, was this the vision? Did you know it was going to turn out as well as it did, or was this more the hope? I mean,
when you think physically of what's happened in Pittsburgh over 30 years, and you and I know that 30 years ago we had 18% unemployment, and it was a pretty tough time, and now we're the most livable city 3 times in 7 years. Forbes Travel says that we're one of the 3 cities you have to visit, and the Financial Times says we're the #1 city in America to start your career at. So a lot has changed, and the reason it's changed for Pittsburgh is that people have had concepts, and then the concept turned out better than we thought. And PNC Park is one of those. Schenley Plaza, the cultural district. You can go on and on. And so I think it's worked out very, very well. The ball club, on the other hand, and you mentioned that the ball club is now first place, obviously, and is commensurate with the ball field. We learned how tricky that is in terms of managing a ball club. You have to build it from the ground up. You can't just kind of invent it. We saw how much trouble we had in the 80s and the 90s, and obviously, Kevin had a problem. And it's easy to understand when you look at, a payroll like New York, who is spending $200 and something million, and if somebody gets hurt, they buy somebody for 20 or something. It's a different economic situation than we have here in Pittsburgh. And I think, Bob Nutting and his dad and his brother, I mean, they basically, decided that they were going to build this team from the ground up, and and develop young players, signed some of the young players like McCutcheon to longer-term contracts, so we're going to have good baseball here, and have really put together a great team. And it took patience, time and money and effort, and Bob Nutting and his family and Frank and the rest of the Pirate group really deserve a lot of credit, because they stuck with it when it wasn't working right away. You know, everybody wanted it to work like next year. You know, now the Nuttings have it, so it's going to win. It didn't happen right away, but the fans have had patience. Looks like we're going to have over 2 million fans here, and this is an exciting place to be whenever the Pirates are in town. And that's the plan coming together.
All right, Jim Rohr from PNC, thank you so much. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Bill.
And we'll be back in a minute out on Federal Street for a little baseball dollars and cents. Stay with us.